Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Thoughtful Leaders, an initiative under Thought on Education by collegedunia.com. College Dunia is one of India's leading education portals catering to students, parents, and education industry peers who are seeking information on exams, cutoffs, student reviews, or applying to colleges. Thoughts on Education initiative is to enrich the user experience at collegedunia.com and try to bridge the long due gap between the vision of top management and the students or parents. Today, we have with us Dr. Ashwini Putra Shetty, HOD of Electronics and Telecommunication. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so beginning with the interview, my first question to you is you have held the key positions at education institutes throughout your professional career. So, what are the key factors that keep you connected with the education sector?
Well, thank you, Meet. Thank you for this opportunity. I have been working with Don Bosco Institute of Technology, Mumbai, for the past 18 years, and out of the 23 years of my teaching experience. DBIT was just 1 year old when I joined this institute, and I have seen it grow in leaps and bounds. We have the best infrastructure in terms of laboratory equipments, softwares, ICT in classrooms, and most importantly, we have very well qualified and experienced faculty members. At Don Bosco Institute of Technology, which is run by the Salesians of Don Bosco, the priests of Salesians of Don Bosco propagate a very unique system of teaching, and we, the faculty, are trained in this system of teaching, which is called as the preventive system of education, which is based on reason and loving and kindness. It is a totally student-centric approach of teaching, and the management of Don Bosco believes in encouraging and motivating the students as well as the faculty to take up new challenges and reach greater heights. Now, the system has nurtured the faculty and the students. More so the faculty. Why do I say that? Is because the faculty lives along with the management for a longer duration of time. And you talk to anybody at Don Bosco, you will get this answer that the management has helped us become better human beings and better individuals. And I believe that this is one of the best features. And yes, that is why we value the Don Bosco system very much.
Okay, moving on to our next question. Being the HOD of Electronics and Telecommunication or BPI, what are your roles and responsibility towards the students?
As I mentioned earlier, we follow the Don Bosco style of education, which is a preventive system, and that makes us extremely student-centric. And all our policies that we frame are, towards the development, welfare, and well-being of the student personality within our campus. Now, we follow a very well-defined, mature and a robust teaching learning process in the department, which I believe is extremely important for a student who comes into the Don Bosco campus. Now, apart from this, we have several other ways in which our students can be catered to. We have several activities where we design activities where the student's personality develops. And while the student is in the Don Bosco's, it is very important that the student feels very much at home. If you talk to DBIT students, they will, for more reasons, they will feel that DBIT is their second home because, there are so many avenues where they can grow. And of course, the most important thing that attracts them is also the huge football ground that we have amidst the beautiful green campus in the concrete jungle of Kurla. So it's a beautiful campus which each one of you should visit. Now, see, there is a student council that is formed at the institute level. Student council is elected by the students, and this council is responsible for several activities from technical to sports and cultural events, and they have a say in everything that happens in the college, the policies that the college is coming up. This principal has meeting with the student council periodically, and they are taken into confidence, and then we come up with and then that is implemented at the grassroots level. Now, apart from that, we have 5 class representatives in every class. Say, for example, in my department of electronics and telecommunication engineering, we have for the second year, third year, and the final year, every class has a class representative, 5 class representatives. One will be the girl representative, one for the sports, one for the technical, one is for the overall one, and these class representatives are in constant touch with the class teacher who is assigned. So every class will also have a class teacher, and the students can approach the class teacher, the HOD, or any other faculty. For that matter, the students can approach the principal and the director at any point of time. The doors are always open. We have an extremely open and approachable system in college. So we have periodic class representative meetings with the HOD, and their inputs are given on to the higher authorities. Their feedback is shared with the faculty in case there is any matter of concern, or whether and if it's good or bad, likewise. And we also take student feedback on the teaching twice a semester. We also have we just don't rely on the student feedback, but we also have a peer review system in the college where for the teaching, for the academic part, where the other faculty come in and they monitor the teaching within the classroom, and that is matched with the peer with these CR feedback as well. So all these approaches kind of create a kind of transparency wherein students can be rest assured that they are in good hands. And also the in Don Bosco's, for several years now, we have what we call as a mentorship program, where we have mentors, faculty mentors, who are assigned 20 students. So the students can even approach their mentors in case there is anything that they are concerned about. And we also have student mentors who are senior mentors for the junior classes. So this is a very beautiful program that runs within DBIT all through the year.
Okay, ma'am. Moving on to our next question. Do you have any extracurricular activities or programs to enhance the skills of the students or expose them to the real world challenge?
So, Meet, to answer your question, wherein we are whether offering any extracurricular sessions to develop the student skills, yes, I should mention that we have two vibrant professional bodies. One is the IEEE body, which is an international professional body for electronics and electrical engineers, and the other is IETE. IETE is a national level professional body. Now, these two professional bodies believe and work with a motto of by the students and for the students, under which they conduct several workshops and guest lectures, expert lectures, and several other activities for development of student skills. We also have within these professional bodies, since it is kind of managed by the students, they not only develop the technical skills but also the managerial, administrative, and organization skills, and also to some extent the financial aspects are looked into by the students. Now, we also have, apart from that, the several clubs at institute level, that is the physics club, the Marathi club, the literary club, and the maths club. The sports and cultural programs are also held. We have an intercollegiate event called as Colosseum and a cultural event called as Hysteria. So this is about the extracurricular events and activities that we cater to our students.
Okay, ma'am. Moving on to our next question. How does the curriculum of DPIB ensure that the students are being prepared for the future?
Okay, Don Bosco Institute of Technology is affiliated to Mumbai University, and hence the syllabus is provided by Mumbai University. We do not have much of autonomy to change the syllabus, but we are not restricted to the syllabus only. The process that we follow at the department level and of course at the institute is that we do what is called as a gap analysis. We identify the gap that the syllabus offers, that is required to bridge with the industry requirement. Now, once this gap analysis is done every semester by the teacher, all the teachers get together, they decide the activities that have to be conducted so as to cater to this bridging of the gap. And also that meeting is required because then they are not overburdening the students with too many activities. So we design workshops, value-added courses, certificate courses. We also design, what is called as project-based learning, which enhances the learning capability, and also the design experiments at the practical level. So, in order to do all of these activities, we take inputs from the industry, inputs from our alumni who are today doing well in the industry, the academic experts from institutions like IIT Bombay, and we also take a feedback from the students at the end of every semester for every course, for what we call as course exit survey of the students. So with all these inputs, we prepare our academic plan for the semester, and we ensure that we bridge the gap and give the students what is required in the industry, though the syllabus actually does not cater to that.
Okay. Moving on to our next question. What are the interventions or the approaches that you bring in apart from the curriculum to train or teach the students?
So in order to train the students, beyond the syllabus, we have several activities within the department. And I would like to mention here a very important activity. It's not actually an activity, it's a club. Okay, it's called as a Robotics Club and School of Automation. Which is run by the Electronics EXTC department along with the Mechanical department. Now, under this Robotics Club and School of Automation, we run these robotics certification courses, which is called as, it's a 112-hour industry validated course, and we float it across to our students and also students of other colleges. Now, also under this banner of RCSA, that is the Robotics School Club and School of Automation, we prepare students to participate in the international competitions such as Abu Robocon, and we have got an exceedingly very good track record of participation in Abu Robocon. Our first attempt in Abu Robocon was in 2018, where we had a national ranking of 108, and in 2019 we got a national ranking in the competition, which is 43rd. And in the third attempt, that is in 2020, we had the third best score. We scored 98 on 100, and we were competing with institutions like IITs and NITs. And due to the pandemic, the next rounds of this competition were withheld, else I'm sure we would have been one of the winners. Now, apart from that, under RCSA, we also we train these students to participate in the CANSAT competition, which is basically a satellite in CAN competition, which is an American Astronautical Society run competition. And in 2019, our participation ensured that we were ranked 80th at the international level. And of course, due to pandemic, we could not progress for this year. Now, so this is a very important activity which prepares students for beyond the curriculum. Apart from this, we also have an MOU with eYantra Labs of IIT Bombay, and our students work on projects under eYantra. We have several MOUs with the different industries within Mumbai and in other cities such as Bangalore. And we have collaboration projects with these under the MOU with these industries, and these projects are brought in as final year projects for our students. And the students work on these collaborative projects to give them a feel of real-time challenging industrial projects. Another point that I would like to mention is we also offer, in-house internships to our students, and as part of the internships, we have seen that one of our group has accompanied our faculty to the LoRaWAN SIG test low-cost field test device. This was a workshop that was conducted in the Things conference in 2019 at Hyderabad.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. So moving on to our next question. What do you see as the greatest strengths of DBIT?
DBIT has several best practices inculcated within its system. And I think the first best practice is the innovative teaching methods that the faculty use for the students. And at the department level, we work in several research groups, like in the Electronics and Telecommunication department, we have VLSI and Embedded System group, the RF and Microwave group, Signal Processing and Communication and Networking. So also we have several industry collaboration projects coming in to help our students improve their learning ability. And most importantly, we also want to sensitize our students to be socially very sensitive. So we take up projects wherein the students get an opportunity to work at real-time to work and find a solution, technological solution for real-time social problems. So that's why we, have a lot of funded projects coming in, wherein the students work, regularly on these funded projects, which are catering to the problems of the tribal villages of Valvanda, which is around 120 kilometers away from Mumbai. Also, apart from this, we prepare our students towards the research. And so we have a course called as Research and Review imbibed within the curriculum. We have, we use platforms like GitHub, Amazon Web Services, and so on, so forth, cloud services, so that the experience is there. We have a lot of incentives for topper students, and also for students who are in financial crunch. Our alumni supports them greatly. We have student mentor programs, and to mention last but not the least, also in-house student internships.
Okay, ma'am. So moving on to our next question. What are some of the biggest challenges that you see for DBIT?
I think one of the biggest challenge that all of us are facing, not just at DBIT but generally, is that there is a need for lifelong learning among students and the teaching fraternity together. Now, and when I say learning, it's not just restricted to learning from the books, but learning from the learning, because the technology is developing so fast, And so it is very important for us to keep ourselves abreast with the changing technology. And that's the only way we can bridge the gap between the industry and the academia.
Yeah, ma'am. So this brings us to our last question, ma'am. Any suggestions that you would like to give to the current youth?
I strongly believe that focus and perseverance are the key factors for success for in one's life. Now, meaning of success varies from individual to individual, and we set our goals and set out to achieve those goals. Now, but the success should always be seen in our own eyes, and success does not mean that you're competing with somebody else. Success is to compete with your own self. And what matters most is, do I have the drive and the fire in my belly to to improvise on myself and take the road of lifelong learning. And like Richard Feynman, the famous physicist said, you keep on learning and learning, and pretty soon you learn something that no one has learned before. And I think that is the need of the hour today.
Okay, ma'am. So thank you so much, ma'am. This was certainly an insightful session. For everyone, this was Dr. Ashwini Kotra Shetty, HOD of Electronics and Telecommunication, on the episode of Thoughtful Leaders and Initiating Under Thoughts in Education by College Dunia. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us your time speaking to us. We look forward to interact with you again.
Thank you, Meet, and thank you to College Dunia for this opportunity.